guys, I'm back, and this video is way overdue. I came up with this idea on November 2nd, 2021, and really made some progress November 5th, 2021, and then completed it November 29th, 2021. So this video is way overdue, but nonetheless, it's here now. So I went to my local Michael's and basically picked out the colors I thought I needed to start this project, went home, mapped it out, like the color scheme and everything that I thought I would be using, and I came up with this. It's giving sunflower theme, sunflower vibes, so I was like, let me go ahead and grab me a blue, a nice royal blue, added it to it, and this is what I came up with, got started, and I videoed the whole process, but as you see, I'm out of frame for most of the footage, so I couldn't use this. I scrapped it. We went on to the next. These are the two styles, a classic granny square and a solid granny square. We're doing hearts. That is the theme. So I got started watching my little tutorials and stuff like that, just basically so I know what I'm doing. This was my first time crocheting, and I decided to do crochet granny square pants. Yeah, okay. So I finished. I have 41 squares. I added one more because I needed some space in the thigh area, which I kind of couldn't figure out how to add that to it. So I end up just adding it to the waist. So everything is kind of like one whole portion, if that makes sense. We got this section and this section. That just made it easier for me, especially since this is my first time. So we have 3 squares in a row for each row, and there's 7. And we're gonna go ahead and basically stitch up 2 squares at a time. I used a flat slip stitch seam crochet to stitch my 2 squares together. I will link the tutorial below that I use to stitch these 2 together. And I'm trying to show you that I went into the corner stitch. So there's 2 stitches that make up a corner, and I go into the one that I work in for that that side. So you see how I'm going down this side? I'm gonna use that corner stitch that's closer to that side. So you don't want to work in the other corner stitch because you'll be sewing it up for the side going across and not down. So we're working down. Always remember to have your yarn to the back of your work. You don't want it in the front, you want it in the back. If you notice, it's always behind my squares. I'm working back. So once I complete these 2, stitching up these 2 or crocheting up these 2, I'm gonna add another 2 squares, and I'm about to show you how I connect those in a few, but right now I'm just slowing it down to show you how I'm only going into the stitch that is closer to the side that I'm working in. This is my corner stitch. This would be the last stitch that I work into for these 2 squares. Now I'm going to grab my other 2 squares and I'm going to connect them. So I work into the closest corner stitch. As you notice, I'm using my stitch markers basically to make this so much easier for me once I get down, because this was my first time crocheting and I was confusing the corner stitches that I needed to work in. So I was like, let me put the stitch markers in before I even get all the way down the squares. And I just continue to do the same method as I stitch these 2 up. And I will do this until I have no more squares for this section. And that way I will go ahead and add my 3rd square and continue the same process once I add my 3rd square. But you're going to see that in a few. So as you see, I'm towards the end. I'm going to fasten off. And now it's time to add my 3rd square to complete a row. So if you notice, I'm not adding it to that top row. I'm adding it to the 2nd row. I'm adding my 3rd square to the 2nd row. We're not going to add it to the top. Now you can start from the top, because most people do not add pockets to their crochet pants, but I added pockets to my crochet pants. So that's why I didn't add it to that top row. But I'm going to do the same process I did for that side to this side, and once it's complete, it's going to look like this. Remember, we're missing a square there. We're going to add it now, because now we're going to stitch it up across. So we stitched them down, but now we're going to stitch it across. So once you finish stitching them all down, you're going to stitch all of those gap areas across using the same method. And I'm going to show you, once you get to a part where you know you stitched it down, you're just going to you're going to chain one right over that connecting stitch. So when that comes up, I'll definitely show it to you so you know exactly what I'm talking about, but it's going to come up in a few. So we're at the stitch that's going down. We're going to chain one right over it and then continue the same process. Work into that corner stitch, work into the other corner stitch, and continue the same process of this flat stitch seam going straight across. And you're going to do that for each row. You're going to chain one, cut your yarn, pull your yarn through, and you're complete fastening off. And look, that portion is done. One leg down, one more to go. So make sure you complete your other pants leg and you'll be set. All you have to do is create a similar shape for it. So, you know, make it into a cylinder shape to fit around your leg. And yeah, but I had to make a gusset because my leg shape big. My thigh just need a little bit more space, and that's because the first row is where my waist is. The second row that I'm counting down now is where my hips is. So like I said, I believe I said this, I made my granny square a little taller because I needed 21 rows so that I could stitch it accordingly to my squares. So my squares had 21 stitches going down each side, going around each side. So I needed the same for my triangle. And that's also where my thigh area is, and I needed some space right there. That's the only part that I needed space at, and I did not want to add another granny square because it would have made it complicated. It would have also made it too big in that area, and I didn't need complication for my first project. This was already complicated enough, so I made it even more complicated by making this gusset. If you want to see how I made this gusset, it will be linked below. I just made a separate video for it because this video was already long enough. And you don't need the gusset. It's optional. If your pants fits around your leg without needing, you know, this extra piece so it can fit, you don't even need to watch that video because you don't need the gusset. But if you need that extra space for your thigh and you don't want to add another granny square to complicate it, like, you know, trying to fit that square in, then the gusset is at your disposal, I guess. But a tutorial will be up on how to make the gusset, and you can go ahead and watch that. It acted as a space for my thigh and the crotch piece. So I'm happy that I made it. It worked out well. Now that my crochet pants stretched out, I use 100% acrylic yarn, and my pants distorted and stretched out. So now I don't even need the gusset piece, but I also did lose weight. So yeah, when I gain the weight back, I may need it again, but yeah, I don't need the gusset piece, but it's still on there. The pants still fit nice. I'm happy for myself with these. Just work on your tension. I think mine stretched out because I didn't have good tension. I didn't know how to properly control my tension when crocheting. I still kind of don't. I hold the yarn in the crochet hook weird, like as you see. So I was just trying to figure it out. Anyways, this is what I came up with. I'm crocheting the leg closed, and I'm using the same method that I used to crochet the squares together to crochet the pants leg as well. So this is all a repetition, and this is not like a tutorial, as you can see. This is more of watch me make my first crochet pants. Watch me crochet for the first time. I did make another pair of pants recently, so I recorded that. Hopefully when I go back over the footage, it's way better than this. The pants fit more on the tighter side for that one, and I used a whole nother method to create those because I wanted them to fit tighter. These are more on the looser side. Those that I just created is more on the form-fitting side. So yeah, when I upload everything, I'm trying to upload everything in order, so that one will come soon. Those pants were supposed to be up for Valentine's Day that I just made, but you know, I missed that deadline because we're way past Valentine's Day now. But if you guys still want to see it, just let me know, and I'll try to get that out for you guys as soon as possible as well. Anyways, enjoy the video. I'll chime back in when I have something important to say. Okay, cool, both legs are done, and we're gonna sew this part up because this is where our crotch is gonna be. I tried like so many different methods. I didn't add it to this video of all of the methods that I tried to use, but stitching it up like this with a darning needle or yarn needle, whatever people want to call it, gave me the best results. Now I kind of wish that by this blue part it was more discreet. Maybe I should have used the color blue instead of this gold, but either way, this gave me the best seamless look. And I use an invisible stitch seam. I'll link a tutorial below that I used to figure out how to do this. And the way I'm doing it is a little bit harder. They like actually had the V's in your stitches to use. I didn't, so I was like, wherever the needle fit in, that's what I used to grip this, and it still looks good. It lasted. Nothing has came loose. Like, great. So I did something right there. Anyway, I fastened it off and I crocheted both sides that's open, which is the middle of the pants. I crocheted that shut. So I'm just tugging on it to make sure it feels nice and strong. And now we're gonna go ahead and crochet these two openings up, and you're practically halfway done with your pants, because all you have to do next is the waistband and the hem of the pants. Now for the waistband, I put my yarn through, I chained up 3 and I made 2 double crochets in every space between each cluster. So cluster of 3 double crochets like in the granny square. And basically I'm gonna link a tutorial below on how I did the waistband, the tutorial that I used to figure out how I want my waistband. I basically linked that tutorial below. Now what the tutorial don't show is for the solid granny square, what I did was I skipped 3 stitches, and on the 4th stitch I went ahead and added 2 double crochets, and I kept that pattern up for the solid granny square. But as you see, for the regular classic granny square, I'm just putting 2 double crochets in the space. So every space, you know, in between the cluster of 3, I'm adding 2 double crochets. So I'm just explaining that because it's kind of hard to see it by the angle that I'm in, but that's exactly what I was doing. And once you complete your 2 double crochets in each space, you're gonna do a post double crochet. Like, that's how you do the waistband, and that's where that video comes in handy that I'm gonna link below in the description bar. So yeah. So I'm doing a front post and back post double crochet for the waistband. Basically, like I said, I'll link that video down below so you can see how to do it. Now, I kept trying on my pants to see where I need to stop my waistband at. And I realized the front, like, I can't have a skinny waistband. It looks okay in the front, but I need more of a waistband from the back. So I went ahead and continued like 6-7 rows of that post and front post and back post double crochet until I got the height that I needed. Once I did, I went ahead and started making my chains of 200 or 250 for my drawstring. And you can make it however long or short you want. I did 200 to 250 chains, I believe. And I went ahead and add that to the waistband. So I crocheted in and out of the waistband. And then I started working on my pocket. Now, like I said, I didn't show how I did the pocket because the pocket is optional. But I messed up on my zipper, so I had to shorten the space that I have for the pocket, which is why I'm sewing this part up. Basically, so my pocket can fit nicely in the opening, because that was the first time I ever shortened a zipper, and good thing my hands are small, because if they weren't, I would have had a problem. So I went ahead and sewed my pocket in using a thread and regular needle and thread. And I went ahead and worked on the hem of my pants. So I did a V-stitch border at the hem of my pants. I'm starting off by just doing a single crochet around the hem of the pants. Now you can stop right at the single crochet around the whole hem of the pants, the bottom of the pants leg, because I've seen people do that. They just do a single crochet border and be done. I've seen people that didn't even do a border around the end of their pants leg. So it's totally up to you. Like I said, I did a V-stitch with I think 2 or 3 rows of a V-stitch crochet border, and then I did a scallop edge around that. So yeah, I think I watched 2 separate tutorials on, you know, the V-stitch and then a scallop edge, or it could have been one video that did both. I'm not exactly sure, but I would definitely find out, and I will link either 1 or 2 videos below. So if it was one tutorial that I watched on this, then I'll link that below. If it was 2, I'll link them below. And it will all be categorized like granny squares. You'll see the videos I watched. The end of the pants leg, the hem of the pants leg, you'll see the videos I watch. And then I will label the waistband, you'll see the video that I watch. So they'll all be linked below and categorized, so it's easier for you to click on the video that you need to watch to help you with making these pants if you're going to make them similar to mine. Now, for the gusset, the video that I made, I just basically made a triangle granny square, but my triangle granny square is tall, so it's not wide like a typical granny square. It is tall because that's what I needed. I needed 21 stitches on both sides of that triangle, and I had to find a way to get those 21 stitches and it not to be too wide that is really large around my thigh area. So I had to find a happy medium, which I end up doing. I'm so happy I came up with that, and I will put the video out there if you guys want to see it, just in case you may need it. But that's also optional, and that's why I didn't add it to this video. So if you notice, I'm gonna say it again, things that I feel like is optional that you do not need to complete your pants, I didn't keep in this video. So if you want to see it, comment down below and I'll make a separate video on those things. Anyways, if you like this video, please share it. Share this video. Like, this was my first ever crochet project. This was the first time I ever made crochet pants. So if you are a beginner, you can do it too, okay? You can do it too. Do not doubt yourself. Don't feel like you can't. Like, there's so many videos that you can use and watch to create your own thing. I watched so many tutorials to figure out how I wanted to make these pants. And I did not use all of those tutorials to a T. I got the information I needed from them, and I did what I needed to do to create something unique to me. So yeah, I didn't follow those tutorials to a T, and it still worked out well for me. I still accomplished what I think are some awesome pair of pants. All right, so go ahead. I hope this video helps you as well. Like, yeah, you get the concept and you're able to be inspired and create some awesome things watching this video. This is what it's here for, like, to give you inspiration. Anyways, I'm at the final stretch. I'm gonna go ahead, sew my last scallop off, and the leg is complete. I'm gonna fasten it off, cut my yarn, and we're gonna go ahead and sew in the yarn, the remaining yarns throughout the pants. We don't want any yarn hanging. That was the part that I kind of messed up with my pants. I didn't give myself enough yarn. Like, when I cut my yarn, it wasn't enough to sew it back and forth so that when you wash the pants and you wear the pants, the yarn doesn't eventually unravel out and expose itself, because I have yarn exposed everywhere, and I sewed in all of my yarn and they're still out saying hello to people. So keep that in mind. Anyways, once you're sewing your yarn, your pants is complete. So lovelies, again, thank you for watching. Make sure you share this video with all your friends and family, and whoever that would want to watch this video, just share with everybody. Like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you think down in the comments below. Check out the description bar for more information. And until next time, lovelies, later.